Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new legal breaking reporting. If you didn't, can a president be prosecuted for violating the Constitution of the United States, such as the rights of those of that reside or resided, and those who are or were in the United States. Let's break that down in today's reporting. Ladies and gentlemen, while the Constitution doesn't address explicitly whether a president can be prosecuted for violating the Constitution, the prevailing view, particularly within the executive branch, is that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted for acts taken within their constitutional authority. This view is rooted in the separation of powers and the idea that prosecuting a president would disrupt the executive branch's functions. However, this immunity is not absolute and doesn't extend to all criminal acts. Ladies and gentlemen, elaborations and presidential immunity. The concept of presidential immunity, for particularly presidential acts, is a complex one. The Supreme Court has recognized that a president is not above the law, but that prosecuting a sitting president for acts within their constitutional authority could disrupt the executive branch. Ladies and gentlemen, impeachment as a remedy. The Constitution's impeachment process, outlined in Article 2, Section 4, is the primary mechanism for addressing presidential misconduct. Congress can impeach and remove a president for treason, bribery, or high crimes and misdemeanors. Ladies and gentlemen, high crimes, post-presidential immunity, is it even a thing? Does it even exist? Well, I will tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. You all remember Judge Tanya S. Chuck, right? That's right. The judge that presided over Donald Trump's January 6th insurrection case and obstruction, espionage case, criminal case, her. She ruled ultimately that once a president like Donald Trump, unfortunately, as soon as he is out of office, he does not have presidential immunity. That's right, presidential immunity only lasts for the entire term that you're in office. Continuing with the video. There's also debate about whether former presidents enjoy any immunity for criminal prosecution. Some argue that immunity for official acts should extend to former presidents as well, while others believe that former presidents should be subject to the same laws as any other citizen. Ladies and gentlemen, no direct legal precedents. There is no definitive court decision or legal precedent that definitely settles the issue of presidential prosecution for violating the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, the executive branch interpretation. The executive branch, through various legal opinions, has generally taken the position that a sitting president cannot be prosecuted for official acts, but this view is not universally accepted. Ladies and gentlemen, examples of potential prosecutions. The debate over presidential immunity has been brought to light in cases involving former presidents, like the current legal challenges involving former President Donald Trump. Core constitutional powers and is entitled, the president is not above the law, but under our system of separated powers, the president may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for his official actions. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go over a few more pages, and then that'll be it for the video and legal breaking reporting on the side of politics. A president, while in office, enjoys a degree of immunity from criminal prosecution for actions taken in their official capacity, particularly those within core constitutional powers. However, this immunity is not absolute and doesn't extend to unofficial acts or actions taken outside of the president's core authority. The Supreme Court has ruled that a president is immune is not immune from prosecution for unofficial acts or acts outside the scope of their presidential core constitutional powers. Ladies and gentlemen, I will add that for outside of their core constitutional presidential powers and acts is those of, for like example, Donald Trump's illegal hush money payment to Stormy Daniels, or stealing the 2024 presidential election. Ladies and gentlemen, presumptive immunity for official acts. The Supreme Court has established that a president is presumptively immune from criminal prosecution for official acts, particularly those within the outer perimeter of their duties. This means that unless a specific exception applies, a president cannot be prosecuted for actions taken in furtherance of their official responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, no immunity for unofficial acts. The court has also clarified that a president does not have immunity for unofficial acts or actions taken outside the scope of their official duties. This means that a president can be prosecuted for crimes committed in their private capacity, such as before becoming president, or for acts that are not directly related to their official responsibilities. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go over core constitutional powers. A president may not be prosecuted for exercising their core constitutional powers. This includes actions that are necessary for the president to fulfill their constitutional duties, such as enforcing laws or leading the military. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go over what impeachment provides. The Constitution provides for impeachment as a mechanism to remove a president from office for high crimes and misdemeanors. This can be a tool for holding a president accountable for actions that violate the Constitution or laws of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, prosecution after leaving office, we're about to go over that. A former president is not immune from criminal prosecution for any actions they took while in office, even if those actions were within their official capacity. This means that a former president can be prosecuted for crimes committed while in office, as long as the prosecution does not interfere with the current president's ability to fulfill their duties. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go over Trump of the United States 2024. The Supreme Court decision in Trump v. United States 2024 clarified the scope of presidential immunity, stating that a president is immune from criminal prosecution for actions taken within their core constitutional authority, but not for unofficial acts. The president is not above the law, but under our system of separation of powers, the president may not be prosecuted for exercising his core constitutional powers, and is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for his official acts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you did enjoy today's legal breaking reporting. If you did enjoy this legal breaking reporting and video analysis update, please consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Firstly. Secondly, if you want to make sure that you're always up to date on all the things legal breaking reporting wise on the side of politics, please hit the bell icon as well as the all notifications option. The bell icon is located directly beneath the screen here on the right hand side of the subscribe button. Thirdly, if you guys also want to stay up to date on all the things legal breaking reporting wise on the side of politics, please follow me on my social medias that'll be linked down below in the video description below. I'm on Instagram, Snapchat, Threads, as well as TikTok. Fourthly, ladies and gentlemen, please help me reach and achieve the goal of 170 plus subscribers. The reason why I'm saying 170 plus subscribers, ladies and gentlemen, is because right after we reach and achieve the goal of 170 subscribers, we have more subscribers to reach and achieve right after we reach and achieve the goal of 170 subscribers. Fifth but last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, please stay positive, even though I know, unfortunately, it's at times hard for you guys to stay positive during these unfortunate illegal induced darkness times caused by the illegal, unconstitutional Trump administration, Trump regime, and know that justice will prevail on the correct side of the law eventually, despite all and his illegal, unconstitutional administration, regime, and their illegal, unconstitutional executive orders, illegal actions, and illegal behaviors. And please stay safe. And know that I will talk to you guys in the next legal breaking reporting.